morning, good evening, and good unspecified hour of the day to you and your kin. Thank you all for tuning in to the most consistent podcast ever made, the Locationally Challenged podcast. We call it that because each episode is filmed at a new location. Today's episode is being recorded at a local Waffle House. Lord save our intestines. My name is Jacob Vanderweide, and I'm the... Actually, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. As always, remember that the information given within this podcast is either from Wikipedia or sources with a similar level of credibility. In other words, recall the words from the hit song Little Talks. Don't listen to a word I say. Now that we've established that we have less credibility than CNN, let's begin. Joining me at the infamous Waffle House, a staple of Americana, are Genius Madeline Jeremy Blanton, Tyler freaking Harity, soccer fan John Very Strange, soccer player Liam Harrison, the preacher's daughter, oh wait, she's not here, World War II's biggest fan, no, he's not here either, Big Bankle brother Brian Bornberg, the orange herself, Annabelle Hollingsworth, and the pedestrian Jesse Slothauer. Now that I have introduced my feathered friends, I would like to open our show with a brief monologue. Listeners, close your eyes with me. I want you to think about the first time you went to a Waffle House. Do you remember what you ordered? How was the food? Did your parents play tic-tac-toe with you? Or did they sit at a different table? Did your parents really love you? Anyway, the first time I went to Waffle House, I was 16 years old. My parents weren't there because I was a big boy. Not because they didn't love me, I swear. Please believe me. Moving on. I was on a trip with my youth group in the middle of Alabama. At about midnight, my youth pastor brought us to the illustrious Waffle House. I ordered a waffle, expecting to get a waffle, and I ordered hash browns, expecting to get hash browns. Instead, I was handed, after a very long wait, essentially a plate with a circular white brick on it, and a bowl of oil soup with some sparsely placed potato shreds. When I tried to pay, the lady handed me a check that said $2.50 on it. I had to fight her to pay the actual amount of $7. This raises a question. Why did the public school system fail Waffle House employees? Before my co-hosts have any time to prepare, I'll start questioning them. As a resident Texan, MJ, what are Waffle Houses like in North Dakota?
Well, hello there, Jacob. I am a resident Texan, however, this is actually my first time in the Waffle House. And to my understanding, Waffle Houses are the same from Turkey to Timbuktu.
Intriguing. I'm not sure that's necessarily true. Next to our nutritionist, brother Brian, which is the least healthy menu item at the Oil House? Excuse me, I'm in the Waffle House.
Jacob, that's a great question. Again, being our senior nutritionist here at Sports Medicine on the Jacob Vanderweide podcast, I get asked this a lot. And what I must tell you is that it's actually the cheeseburger patty melt. A lot of people think, I bet it's one of these big plates. In actuality, it's not. It's one of these really big, fatty bowls. But, that's okay. Sometimes we all have to order a cat or two and eat them in our time.
I love cats, especially... Anyway. John, you told me before the podcast started that you have a friend in high school who aspired to be a Waffle House employee. Tell our listeners what he was like and what he's up to now.
Oh, well, he was sort of a loud fellow. He napped a lot, which made it hard for him to get a job. He went in for a number of interviews with Waffle House because it's just really all he wanted to do was work there. He loved sausage. He just wanted to work at Waffle House and eat sausage all day. They never let him in. I don't understand why. He was a dog, but other than that, I don't really see why he didn't qualify to work at Waffle House.
I never would have suspected that dogs eat a lot of sausage, but that's good to know. Jesse, you're not a Southerner, which, let's all agree, is very cringe. What is it like for a Pacific Northwesterner to experience the basedness of a Waffle House?
Well, that's a very good question. It is also kind of cringe that I'm not a Southerner, but that's okay. It's kind of giving me Chuck E. Cheese, but breakfast. Yeah, not that much to it, but...
Work on your answers. Brother Liam, you've traveled the world, as Dr. Toland points out weekly. Could you speak to the similarities between an English pub and the American Waffle House?
There are zero similarities between the English pub and the American Waffle House. In fact, the English pub, you get beer, fries, and really good bratwursts with various different kinds of foods. At the Waffle House, we get waffles, which is a disgrace in England, if anything.
You know, I didn't know waffles were a disgrace in England, but I guess that makes sense since they hate the French so much. Annabelle, how is Waffle House like an orange?
I think they have some genuine, they want to work hard and get you your food. And it sometimes doesn't happen all that well, but they keep trying. And I guess that's like being an orange. I still don't know what that phrase means, but that's what I believe.
That was awfully pessimistic from the most optimistic person I know. As our emo fashion expert, Tyler, if Waffle House made merchandise, would you wear it?
Well, you see, first and foremost, their merchandise would be very much along the lines of yellow and red and tan, and I'm more of a pink, purple, and bright blue kind of guy myself. Additionally, I'm not an emo, but I will be emoting over your grave if you keep it up.
Feisty words, feisty words. Thank you all for your bountiful insight. I think I speak for all of my co-hosts present when I say to Waffle House employees, you improve the lives of American college students daily.
Yes.
Now, it's time to do a segment that I regretfully still have on the podcast, but he enjoys, so off to Tyler.
What's up, my Argentinian pals? Welcome back to ASMR. I'm your host, my dude, Surfer Tyler to be sure. I'm about to hit waves, but before I catch him, I wanted to make with you some of the bra sounds of the great Waffle House establishment, my guy. For real, for real. Here we go, oh my bromy homies.
Those were sounds of the Waffle House. If you would like to experience more of those, I cannot recommend a better place to you than Denny's. Glad to hear Tyler has finally publicly lost his mind, though.
Oh, no.
I've been waiting for proof for years. Before we get to our current events segment, it's time for a new segment called Musings by Dr. Owen. Dr. Owen is one of my favorite professors, in large part due to his outlandish statements he makes regularly. Here are a few out-of-context quotes from him from this semester. He said, and I quote, "There's not any gay in me." That's a curious statement. He also said, and I can't wait, I can't for the life of me remember why he said this, but if it's this clear, why are there Baptists? Ellen's not here with us tonight, but I'm sure her father, Dr. Shaver, is listening, and to him I say, talk to Dr. Owen about this. I didn't say it. And one more thing. Owen muttered in class, you ever hung out with a 100-year-old? There ain't going to be any impregnation happening. Thank you, Dr. Owen. Thank you so much. I'm now going to perilously release the reins of the sleigh to our current events correspondent, John. Hopefully, he learned in homeschool how to steer a sleigh.
I did not, in fact, learn how to steer a sleigh, nor am I entirely clear on what we're talking about. Anyways, welcome back to the Jacob Vanderwide YouTube channel. Viewers, seeing as we don't have a good name for you guys yet, maybe you could comment below if you have a better name for you as the audience. Now, listen, I know it's been several months since the last upload, but that's not my fault. Blame the guy whose name is slapped on the channel. Today, we will return to our current event segment, but before we get there, Jesse would like to make a shout out.
Hey guys, I'm Jesse. I'm new around here. You may know me from Jacob's terrible YouTube Shorts content where I appeared briefly as the pedestrian. Anyway, I just wanted to pop in here and give a shout out to Bigfoot. We know you and your wife, She Bigfoot, are longtime supporters of the Jacob Vanderweib YouTube channel. We thank you immensely. Now back to current events with John.
This sausage is bussin'. Alright, thanks, Jesse. I didn't know Mr. and Mrs. Bigfoot were listeners, but I'm certain Professor Holbrook will be pleased to hear that. He's dear friends of them. Now, to the current events. See, this week, we're going to do things a little differently. We decided to focus on the breaking news of American politics. Jacob, you never answer these questions. Why is that?
I wrote them. I don't have to.
Well, that was a kind of a waste of time. Maybe it's better if he doesn't answer these questions, actually, folks, so let's move on. MJ, I hear the climate is changing. What's the newest weather condition that our listeners should be worried about, or even excited about?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, John, because actually being in this Denny's has reminded me that Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is not that far off from being reality. You two within the next years could experience not only acid rain, but grease rain, bacon rain, burger rain, and more. So tune in for that, listeners. Hope you're excited.
This next question should go to, Tyler, obviously. What's the Illuminati up to these days, sir?
Well, that's a funny question, actually. The Illuminati has disbanded. Any news to the contrary is false. I assure you, it is gone, it is dead, it is destroyed. There is no need to concern here, citizen. There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
In a very similar question, what is Barack Obama up to? Runner Ryan.
Michelle. I live in the White House. I play golf, and my name is Barack Hussein Obama.
All right, we're going to cut that off there. Annabelle, you seem knowledgeable in this. Could Care Bears make a comeback in the American political climate? What party would they be?
I really like Care Bears, and so I hope they do make a comeback. They could bring some care back to the political environment that we have here. I don't know what party they would be. I think they would just be like a lovey party, and I think they could just really bring the positivity back to our political things, because I don't like political things very much, because people be being mean out there.
Unitarian Universalist Care Bears.
Wait, I could get behind that.
All right, ease up, guys, now. Liam, I've been thinking about you specifically a lot lately. No, sorry, that was somebody else. Jesse, what's it like living in the worst state of the Union, Washington?
Well, let me just say, first off, it is not the worst state. It rains all the time, and so...
Alright, we're just going to cut her off there. She can't say that it's anything other than the worst state in the Union. Back to John.
Poor Liam's looking hurt over here, so I'll ask him a question. I'm going to make it easy on you, though, Liam. I'm going to make it easy on you. What's the meaning of life?
Well, I could kind of joke around, but I think honestly the meaning of life is to serve and glorify God in everything that we do.
Anyways, thank you all for helping me report on America's breaking news. Ben Shapiro ain't got nothing on you guys. Now, we're going to move on to world religions with Runner Ryan.
Well, hey there, listeners. After leaving it out of the last podcast, Jacob has chosen, rather unwisely, I would probably add, to resurrect the world religions segment of the podcast. And, of course, without my permission, he is forcing me to read it. Here we go again. So, to be clear, I am directly quoting Wikipedia, because Jacob can't possibly bother to do any real research. Longtime viewers may remember this subject. Let's begin. The flying spaghetti monster is the deity of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, or sometimes referred to as Pastafarianism, which is a social movement that promotes a lighthearted view of religion. The flying spaghetti monster was first described in a satirical open letter written by Bobby Henderson, stupid name, am I right, in 2005 to protest the Kansas State Board of Education decision to permit teaching of intelligent design as an alternative to evolution in public school science classes. In the letter, Henderson demanded an equal amount of time in science classrooms for the flying spaghetti monsterism. After Henderson published the letter on his website, the flying spaghetti monster rapidly became an internet phenomenon. The central creation myth of Pastafarianism is that an invisible and undetectable flying spaghetti monster created the universe after drinking heavily. Also, pirates are revered as the original Pastafarians. I had chocolate chips. Thank you. So, that's the gist of Pastafarianism. Comment below some other cults that we should cover. Before we move on, a few questions for my co-hosts to test their audio retention skills. As a believer in this joke cult, Tyler, what lessons can non-Pastafarians learn from the teachings of the flying spaghetti monster?
Well, the greatest teaching I feel as a Pastafarian is when a man loves a woman, specifically an Italian woman, they give birth to a child of the flying spaghetti monster. And you see, the problem with that little idea right there is that
Okay, well, we're going to cut you off there. It is very interesting, though, that we can all have children that are actually made of pasta. Jesse, do you think that your heathen West Coast buddies would actually be receptive to the message of this wonderful, beautiful flying spaghetti monster of Pastafarianism?
No, I do not think that they would, because in Washington we are more seafood and sushi people than spaghetti people. So actually it's kind of quite offensive that you would think that we would accept that.
Very understandable. Okay, well, I'm sure we can find other people to believe in Pastafarianism. And finally, Liam, how might you and your friends be able to add the flying spaghetti monster to your theology?
I guess the dedication and the ability to stay committed to a religion regardless of some radical beliefs.
Okay, understandable. And please remember, viewers, praise the prosciutto, the prosecco, and the pasta sauce.
Hey listeners, I'm back again. I know you don't want to hear my voice, it gets a little annoying. But before we get to the most famous segment of this podcast, or really any podcast in the Milky Way galaxy, the roundtable discussion, of course. My co-host and I are proud to introduce a new segment. It is called Sing a Song. I'm going to have to ask all of my co-hosts to sing along with me now. Their discomfort at singing in public will be your delight. Today, we will be singing a song that is ubiquitous with Christianity, Amazing Grace. Sing with me, co-hosts. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved
good waffle.
like me.
Hey, did someone get the scrambled eggs? Scrambled?
I once was lost, but now I'm found.
Who got their hash browns smothered? Onions?
But now I see. Wow, that was really amazing grace to listen to. What a joyous cacophony, am I right? I've never heard such a beautiful song sung so poorly. Y'all really should practice before we sing a song again unannounced. On to our last segment for today, the industrious roundtable discussion. Called that because the table that we are sitting at looks like it was numbered 7,534 out of 44,239 tables made at some random factory in Mississippi. If you remember from one of our previous podcasts, this is the part of the show where I ask my co-host a controversial question, and they respond however they please. As usual, I will ask a question based on our location, which today is the Waffle House. Our question is this. What is your favorite secret menu item at Waffle House? I'm going to start it with John.
You can order your hash browns with squid caviar.
Sheesh.
There's nothing like some Denny's pancakes from Waffle House. The waitresses will go and get them for you.
You see, I actually prefer the, now don't tell anyone I told you this, but Waffle House has a secret sushi menu, and if you don't, no, John, get away. It's very secret.
Okay, we don't do ASMR with Ryan here.
I kind of like their waffles.
That's not a secret menu item.
Wait. Just the plain waffle.
Additionally, the diet communism offered as a beverage is the supremest thing I've ever had.
Listen to me. I only have a few seconds.
No.
I like the cheese and eggs. You can get cheese on your eggs from the 2-star special. I've always done that. I am very happy I'm eating them right now.
By 2-star, do you mean their rating on Yelp or what?
It's the actual name of it on the menu. I like reading.
I'm sure it tastes like it too.
I don't like Waffle House.
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess thank you all for talking at the microphone, but some constructive criticism I have for all of you. Maybe next time Sorry, I need to compose myself. For your guys' constructive criticism for next time, try talking with the microphone. I'm sure he'd appreciate that a lot more.
Does it have a name?
Listeners, thank you for listening. That took a lot of good listening skills from you. You are great listeners. Well, this is us signing off. Stay curious, and don't forget what we always say. A fast food meal a day keeps the doctor away. That's all, folks. We'll test your patience again next time.
Bye.